What's up? What's up? What's up? Straight to the point. Sports and entertainment. Hit the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel if you're not a member. And also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content and all of my videos. Salute to the whole Lions Den, basketball, and boxing communities. Um, we're going to talk about game one. I'll wait for a few people to get up in here, and then I'll go ahead and I'll get started, man. Roll call, Ted. I see you up in here, bro. What's going on, man? Yeah, I showed up. We both showed up. Because you've been bragging about the Mavericks and everything. I know it's just one game, and I'm not even going to be a prisoner of the moment, but you've been bragging about the Mavericks, you and Stephen Green, and I was wrong about something too, and I think y'all know what it is. So we definitely are going to talk about it. Like I said, man, we don't duck no smoke. Ain't no smoke ducking around here. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no dodging no smoke. Ain't no stop, drop, and roll and none of that stuff. Ain't no crawling under the smoke and none of that to get up out of the building and none of that. Nah, man. We gonna go through it. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Cypress? I see you in the building, man. Shoot, man. I saw something was wrong with you, man. Shoot. I like, man, where's Cypress at, man? You know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna be kind of surprised with what I got to say, man. Because everybody been saying, putting their perspectives on the game, but y'all gonna be kind of surprised with some of the things, my analysis of the game. Okay, man, you all right, man? Shoot, man, I don't know, man. You've been incognito, as we call it, incognito. You said Boston. What's up, Steven? Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this. I'm pretty sure y'all looking for, uh, Brown Sugar and True the King and all of them to show up. Shout out to them whenever they come through. You said Mavs was winning. Yeah. But no. But I said that. I said that. But let me address something real quick though, okay? Let me address something, and this has to do with Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum did not play as bad as some people think. Okay, now he did have 6 turnovers. He led in turnovers. He did have 6 turnovers. He shot 6 of 16. Okay. However, he had 11 rebounds. He out rebounded KP, who had 20 points, and I think he had like 3 rebounds, and he also had like 3 blocks. Excellent job on the defense and rim protection. But the thing about it is what people don't know: the highest plus or minuses were Jason Tatum, who had a plus 19, and Drew Holiday, he had a plus 20. Jaylen Brown had a plus 17, and everybody else was in the pluses. Okay. Of course, Jaylen Brown had 22. KP had 20. But they're gonna say that Jaylen Brown, he did lead off scorers and he did shoot 58%. he had a better job. He did a greater job shooting wise, offensive wise, and everything. But in terms of playmaking, rebounding, and defense, you got to give it to Jason Tatum, along with the other guys. Well, really, Drew Holiday. But he didn't play as bad as some people think. He just, he didn't shoot particularly well. But at the end of the day, he'll win. And the thing about it is, too, I've been telling people Jaylen Brown is to me, he's the more impactful player. And now you're on the big stage, and now you get to see it, and you're seeing it come to life. And he's always played good against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, let me go ahead and address what I was wrong about. I was wrong about KP. I was wrong about KP. All right? I was wrong. He didn't destroy the chemistry. He actually made it better. He shot 50% from three-pointers. He was 2 of 4. But the thing that I was impressed with most is he was able to disrupt kids' schemes. Like he was doing everything. He pretty much. If you'd have told me KP was injured, I'd have probably just laughed at you because he fit right in, and I thought that he was going to disrupt the chemistry. I was wrong. I'm a man of my word. I show up. You know what I'm saying? And KP, he did make a difference. Now, I'm still not ruling out Dallas, okay? And I know, Stephen Green and Cypress, they gonna say that I'm capping and all that. And there's a reason why I'm not ruling out Dallas. It's because Dallas really hadn't played their best game. Now, I haven't been giving Jason Kidd the smoke, but Jason Kidd, he does deserve the smoke in this instance right here. Okay, I felt like just from looking at everything, man, he could have been a little bit more. He could have been a little bit smarter in what they were doing to kind of stop the bleeding in the first half. Particularly, man, you got to set the tone. Irving was awful. Okay, he was awful. There's no way around it. And y'all know I love Kyrie, but he was awful. He shot 6 of 19. You know what I'm saying? Only shot like 31%, Luka, even though he had 30 points and he had a historic night and all this other stuff with he still shot 12 of 26, which that's not good, man. He shot 46%, man. You gotta at least be shooting 50%. And then on top of that, you were I think you were a negative 15. Everybody in the Dallas, with the exception, I think, of like 2 players, Exum. I think it was Exum and Hardaway. They were 3. Everybody else was in the negative. But nobody wants to talk about that, though. Nobody wants to talk about that. Don't get quiet on me now. I'm throwing these numbers at you. And now y'all, everybody's surprised. But we do have to look at the game. I understand that. But Boston has set the tone, man, and it's going to be hard. Listen. We also got to understand that they were 0-2 against Boston in the season. You said you taking Dallas too? You said KP Has the spirit of Walter. Well, I ain't gonna go that far. Come on, Ted. I ain't gonna go that far, man. I ain't gonna go that far, man. In Walton's prime, but you know what though? KP was always a unicorn before the injuries, man. But he just you could never. And this is actually you got to think about it. Don't forget that KP and Luka they played with one another. So KP is really trying to get his get back, and he wants this game. That's what we have to realize. You realize that, Ted, Steven, and Cypress, everybody else that's listening, KP wants his get back. Because he felt like Luka gave up on him, and he felt like Luka got him up out of there, out of Dallas. Am I right? I hope Brown and Tatum stay on Boston next season. That's if they win. Winning cures everything. But you also got to realize that and shout out to Town Biz. Shout out to Town Biz, Oakland's finest, man. Shout out to Town Biz. If Town Biz is listening, man, he brought up a good point, and nobody's even talking about this. This is the contract year for Jason Tatum. You said the Mavs misused KP. To a certain degree, but he still was able to be very effective despite what some people think. But him also being injured and him being hurt, that didn't help either, though, Ted. Because when you're in and out the rotation like that, you know what I'm saying, it's hard. And you see what's happening now. The only thing that's been happening with KP is it has nothing to do with his skill. KP don't even move the same like he did, man. You could tell KP has been hurt by how he's been moving and stuff. Because when he first came into the league, I was like, yo, this guy. You remember they was all, they always want to compare somebody to Dirk and all that stuff. Everybody was comparing him, but I was like, nah, he's much different than Dirk though. They wanted to compare him to Dirk when he was in New York. Even Melo liked the way KP played. That short time that they were together. I agree with you to a certain extent, but like I said, it doesn't help. It never helps when you're, especially when you have a agile big like that who's 7'4", who can get up and down the floor. I'm talking about when he was before he was hurt. I mean, you got to depend on him a lot. You know what I'm saying? You depend on him for rim protection, and on the offensive end, you could use him. You could use him out on the perimeter, and you could use him in the interior too because he's big. You know what I'm saying? We seen the best KP when he was in Washington with the Wizards, in my opinion. That's cap. That's cap. A lot of people didn't even know he was in Washington. When he was in New York, that was the best version of KP. And then you also got to realize when he was in Dallas, they made the playoffs when they were in Dallas too, Cypress. Yeah, it was Phil Jackson that took a chance on him, and Phil Jackson actually got criticized for that. He got criticized for that heavily. I like Phil Jackson. even though some of the stuff, you know what I'm saying, he said some controversial things. I don't. He didn't do a good job while he was in New York in the front office. He did a horrible job. And the fact that you let Derek Fisher coach your team and continue coaching, that says a lot about you too. But nah, he was better than that, Cypress, man. He was better. Listen, in New York, like I saw a lot with KP in New York. And Dallas is, you got to realize he was with a ball stopper in Luka. Luka was dribbling the air out of the ball, you know, back then too. We had to realize that. And he was complaining too because he wasn't really getting that many touches. But Luka's argument was that, well, you're never healthy, you're never there. You know what I'm saying? But now he's able to get his get back. I think he fits well in Joe Mazzulla's system. And let me say this: Joe Mazzulla, man, he done switched it up. Now there's another thing too. They utilized the 3-pointer because they outshot the Mavericks. The Mavericks shot awful from 3-pointers. They only shot like 25%. I think they were like 7 for 30 or 40 something like that, man. But they shot like 20-something%. Shot like 38-39%. Boston did. They was on fire. I got to give it to him, but you know what though? He actually did a solid job on defense too, though. Ted, he must have been listening to me because I think I've been the only one that has been really critical. And True to King, I know True to King, he thought I was capping about that, you know what I'm saying, about Mazzulla. But my only thing was about Mazzulla is that earlier in the season you wouldn't have never thought that because he didn't. To me, he didn't really. But I had to look at something and think. Some people had to point some things out to me. Boston was ranked number 2nd. They were ranked 2nd in defense. There you go. See, I mentioned True to King, and now he up in here. What's up, True to King? But yeah, True to King, he had pointed that out about Mazzulla, and I was always like, you know, well, Ima Udoka to me, he was a more defensive-minded coach, and to me, I'm just saying, from the outside looking in, he brought out the best out of them. But we're looking at a Mavericks team, man, where they're on this big stage. They're 0-2 against Boston. Okay. Jaylen Brown has always, and people can say what they want. True to King can attest to it. Jaylen Brown has had Luka's number. Remember, I gotta be real, man. Luka shot 40% the first time they played. He shot 40% from field goal, and including 3-pointers. He had a triple-double, but like I said, that doesn't really tell the story. And plus, he was in the negative. It was the same damn thing this game. He shot a little better this game. He shot like 44%, 45% or something like that, 40 or 46. But he was still, still horrible, man. He was a minus 15. Like I said, Jason Tatum, he was a plus 19. That's why I'm not going to sit up here and say that Jason Tatum played horrible. He didn't. He didn't shoot well. I mean, he only shot 37%. Of course they're gonna say that. But when you got 11 rebounds and you got 1 block, and you have 5 assists, and you have a plus 19, and you only got 1 personal foul, that's not bad to me. The only thing that you could look up there and say and criticize him about, and True to King probably disagrees or agrees with me, he had 6 turnovers. That's why some people, other than that, they still won the game, and he was a plus 19. Everybody on Dallas, um, with the exception of Exum, and with the exception of Hardaway, who they really didn't play that much. Everybody on Dallas was a negative. And make sure y'all go sub to the brother True the King, man. True the King talk about everything. He kind of like me, man. We not just gonna talk about basketball, man. We talking about rapping. He like Cypress too. We don't just talk about basketball all the time, man. He's heavy in the hip hop, heavy in the boxing. And he one of the few people in the LDBC community that I could talk football with, besides the brother Cypress, Scrub Zero, Ted, and a few others, man. A lot of people don't really be talking football like that. But definitely go sub to True the King, though. But to get back to what I was saying, man, yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and criticize the guy because we've seen that. If we're gonna do that, then we gotta. I can't sit here. I would be a hypocrite saying that about Anthony Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Because Anthony Edwards has done the same thing. He wouldn't play particularly well shooting wise, but on the defensive end, he actually did solid. And look, I've been really critical of Jason Tatum on his defense and everything, even though he stepped it up. But to me, you got better defenders on his team or whatever. But this game right here, he was all around. He just didn't shoot that well. But yeah, Boston, man, they've set the tone. They've set the tone. You said Tatum passing needs to improve. I mean, he had 5 assists. You know what I'm saying? But Tatum's not a. Tatum sometimes can be very tricky at times. I criticize Tatum, man, a lot. You know why? Because I've been watching Tatum. I didn't just watch Tatum. True the King, guys like True the King and Cypress will tell you. I didn't just watch Tatum. I've been watching Tatum ever since he was in high school. Do you know that he shot better? He shot better in high school and in college than he did when he got to the NBA. And to me, of course, Kobe was his favorite player. You know what I'm saying? And there would be times when Kobe would shot jack. You know what I'm saying? And I think he saw a lot of that. Because there were, sometimes his field goals would be awful. That's why, like, when you compare, like, Anthony Edwards to Kobe or, to Jordan, there would be times when them guys would shot jack, man. And particularly when we talk about Kobe, sometimes he'll shoot your team out of a ball game. And Tatum would do that sometimes. But the only difference now is that when Tatum is on, he's making a lot of concerted effort outside of just scoring now. And I try to look at that. If you're 6 for 16, but you got 11 rebounds, you got 5-6 assists, got a few turnovers, you know what I'm saying, but you a plus 19, you're impactful to the game. especially when you're out rebounding. You're out rebounding. You out rebounding Al Horford. I think Al Horford had 8 rebounds, but um, besides that, man, Dallas has got to get better. I like the way PJ Washington played. PJ Washington has really, PJ Washington was really the more efficient player for them. You know, I don't know. What do y'all think, man? Y'all, what's it called? Cypress don't got much to say. You know what I'm saying? But see, he wants something bad to happen. That's what it is. But you said Jones was hustling. Yeah, Derrick Jones. Yeah, Derrick Jones Jr. I wanted it, man. I want to go after Derrick Jones Jr. Man. I think he would be a good fit for the Sixers, man. Yeah, Hardaway, man. You know, Hardaway and Kidd don't really get along like that. Hardaway and Kidd don't get along like that, man. And see, the thing with Hardaway, man, is I think I, him and his dad are really disgruntled. Tim Hardaway Sr., Killer Crossover Tim, man, he earlier in the season, he was very critical of Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks organization. So I think I think he's been a bit disgruntled as to what's going on. But yeah, Kidd's got to coach better, man. He done good up until this point or whatever, but we got to see how they do on the road. And see, there's another point too. See, we got to also understand this too. Boston was up on Golden State that year that that year that Golden State won the championship. There were a lot of people talking about Boston was going to win and everything, and guess what ended up happening? Golden State ended up winning. Golden State ended up winning. Yeah, he don't got much to say because I mean he waiting for something bad to happen. But I listen, they just proved me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I think he's been pushing for Brown. Um, Brown has got something to prove. Brown, you got to think about it. A lot of these people. I call this is a chip and dip game, Ted. This is a chip and dip game because everybody in here is playing with chips on their shoulders. Think about it, okay? I call it the game can get really chippy, and everybody's playing with a chip on their shoulder. Think about it. I already mentioned that other storyline between KP wanting to get his get back against Luka, okay? And Luka might feel the same way. He got a chip on his shoulder against KP, right? Well, Brown and Tatum, they have multiple chips on their shoulders. You know why? Because first and foremost, they want to prove to people that, okay, we're we're not a fluke. We're supposed to be here, and we're actually going to win it this time instead of just going here and failing once again. Okay. Then on top of that, Jaylen Brown has a chip on his shoulder because he wants to prove to people, okay, look, I'm more than just offensive. I can play defense and everything, and I'm also a premier player, and I should have been on those All-NBA teams. Okay? And then, of course, you got Kyrie. He's playing with a chip on his shoulder because it's Kyrie against the world. Kyrie against Boston. Kyrie against the mainstream media. Well, Well, I didn't know that. I didn't really see that, but hey, you're probably right. Jason Kidd want, he's trying to prove to people, okay, you look, I belong here too. So that's a good point too. I could roll with that. I could definitely roll with that because yeah, you're right about that, Ted. Because the thing about it is that Jason Kidd was supposed to be, they were trying to get rid of Kidd earlier in the season. They were trying to get rid of Kidd earlier in the season. And then also, this is another thing too. I don't think this person's getting enough credit either. Michael Finley. I don't think Michael Finley's getting enough credit either. Yes, they lost last night, but Michael Finley, man, had done an excellent job with scouting out talent. He particularly international talent. Mark Cuban is always going to have a chip on his shoulder. Mark Cuban, that's his personality. Mark Cuban is a bona fide overcomer and underdog. That's why he gives people opportunity. Listen, when Mark Cuban first came on the scene, everybody hated Mark Cuban. Everybody hated him. I know my mom, she could not stand Mark Cuban, but I like Mark Cuban because y'all remember that, Ted? Cypress, if Cypress still in here, man, he probably done fell asleep, man. That nigga done fell asleep and shit. Boy, I need to take some no dose or some shit. But anyway, like Mark Cuban was everywhere, and they loved his against the grain mentality. He was a rebel, and he gave people opportunity. You got to think about it. They started making, he started making a lot of moves, and everybody was very critical, especially during the Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki era. A lot of people were wondering, well, damn, what are we gonna do without Nash and without Dirk Nowitzki together or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And it took a while, it took him a long time, because I think Dirk Nowitzki didn't win a championship until like his 13th season or something like that. 12th or 13th season. So it took them a while. So people were, they were waiting, they were desperate, you know what I'm saying? And when they got there, when they got close, in 06 or whatever, they came up short and they almost had it against Miami. And they were, people got to understand, man, the West is, nigga, you never left, man. Your ass, nigga, you be dozing off, nigga. That nigga be snoring like goddamn, what's his name on Three Stooges back in the days. That nigga Cypress be up in there, man. He be like the Pops on Friday. Yeah, he be sleepy, be like, give me some chicken with lots of hot sauce. Yeah, he got Hennessy in his coffee and shit. You know what I'm saying? That nigga Cypress, that nigga he got the ring. You remember those old school bosses, man? They got the They got the coke in the ring. I'm not saying Cyber do that shit. I wouldn't disrespect that nigga like that, but you know, you got them bosses, man. You know, they got the coffee with the liquor in it, and they got the coke. They got the ring with the coke in it. They'd be like, now Ted, you know your ass was supposed to be here on time, smelling like liquor and everything. You'd be like, I'm on time today. He's like, that ain't the goddamn point. You supposed to be professional at work and shit. You know what I'm saying? The boss cursed more than everybody else. They'd be like, oh. So now you fucking her now? He'd be like, man, yeah, what about sexual harassment, nigga? I told you to leave them bitches alone. He said, that's my pussy. All right? You don't touch that. You looking at the nigga, you're like, yeah, say something else, nigga. I'll bring your ass in. You'd be like Dollar Bill on goddamn Players Club and shit. That nigga put you in a stranglehold. You like, God damn, man. It's like I gotta work here, but I don't want to, man, because this nigga right here, man, that nigga blackmailing the shit out of me. Like, that's my ass, nigga. I wish you would stare at her. Keep your eyes over here, man. Nah, but yeah, man. I really feel like Mark Cuban, man, he did a great job with this organization. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna be real with you, and this is gonna like rub some people the wrong way when I say this. Y'all ready for this? If Mark Cuban and Joe Dumars ran the league would be a lot better right now. The league would be a lot better. Yes, I said Mark Cuban. And correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. I think Mark Cuban at one time he was trying to be one of the ones to try to run the league. Cause you know a lot of people were criticizing Mark Cuban about yeah, I think he should run the league. I think listen, if you had Mark Cuban, because think about it, Mark Cuban is a rebel mentality. David Stern, while everybody criticized David Stern, let's just be real, Ted. He did a way better job than Adam Silver did, because David Stern actually understood the game. Adam Silver don't really understand the game like that. He's all about what's trendy. I know I probably offended some people, because a lot of people don't really care for Mark Cuban. I've always liked Mark Cuban. I've never had, especially, man, if you pay attention to his show, yeah, he held players accountable. You know what I'm saying? But like everybody knew, well, back then everybody knew Jordan retirement, quote unquote retirement. We know what that was. But back then, knowing now and how, my elders, they explained to me what was going on. I didn't want to believe it. I was like, oh man, he's retiring. Because when Jordan retired, man, even little kids was mad. Like, little kids didn't want to play the video games anymore. You got to think about it. When Jordan retired, when Jordan had retired or whatever, that's when they had came out with Live. They came out with NBA Live and stuff. They was coming out with NBA Live 90, because it was based on the 94 season. They came out with 95, Live 95 or whatever, and then they came out with Live 96 or whatever. But you got to realize Jordan would never be on those games. But on like Bulls versus Blazers and Celtics versus Lakers on Sega Genesis and stuff like that, Michael Jordan was actually on the games. But people don't realize that. And then, of course, when they came out with NBA Jam, people were mad because, of course, Charles Barkley wasn't on the game, Michael Jordan wasn't on the game, and well, Shaquille O'Neal. There were some games he was on, and there were some games that he wasn't on. Yeah, he was shooting guard number 23 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But and then remember Chad, back then you could actually go in and get all the legends. You could go and type in, you'll type in like Bill Russell, and it would make this little noise like you actually hit a code. Like, let's say you type in Bill Russell's name, like to create a player, and it would go and then it would do all of the ratings for you. Or you'll type in Nate Thurman, you'll type in Bob Cousy, you'll type in Wilt Chamberlain, you'll type in everybody, all of the. I know I'm showing my age. I already know Cyber's gonna say some shit, man. You showing your age, nigga? You showing your goddamn age too, cause I know you played that shit too. Stop it. Man, come on, man. Don't let us know we above 40, man. Come on, man. I don't want nobody. Man, I remember, man, I was looking at an interview, man, with Silk the Shocker, and they were like, "Yeah, Silk. So you about you close to 50 and everything." Like, man, come on, man, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, shit. They niggas, they know your ass is of age, anyways, nigga. You might as well get over that shit. Because if I'm talking about Super Nintendo back in the days, you know what I'm saying? Some of these little kids, they can't even spell Super Nintendo. But besides that, man, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ride out. Make sure y'all hit the like button, sub to this channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content and all of my videos. Straight to the point. Shouts out to the whole entire Lions Den basketball community. Until then, I'm gone.